Okay, so this is video number two. Now we're going to focus now on teaching reading. Now, for teaching reading, we're going to review three different things: skimming, scanning, and context clues. Please pause the video right now and find the definitions for each one of these terms. Take notes. Okay, I believe you already paused the video. Let's continue. For these, the first thing I want to review is the different terms you can find for skimming and scanning. Remember, this is based on education. So for skimming, we have a quick reading to get the main idea. Remember, general terms. And when we go for scanning, we're looking for specific details: names, number, dates, facts, different aspects inside the readings. Now, remember that the structure that we're using is pre, while, and post. This is just a review from what you were searching right now. And for context clues, this was the part of the presentation that we learned in class. Um, we used to learn this because I already have some examples here. So be careful here and try to recall the information that we reviewed the other day. First, we have definition and explanation. Remember that we use context clues for these type of examples when we have a specific word in the reading that your students cannot understand. And of course, we're not taking into consideration translation or any sort of resource like a dictionary, for example. If we have nothing, let's use the same information from the reading to understand the context of each one of the words. So, as I previously mentioned, first, definition and explanation. You can have some visuals to teach this, or the meaning or the explanation can be inside the reading. Now, number two, synonyms. Find different words to understand the meaning of the word. Now, number three, we got examples. Examples are used usually to try to understand the context, because while you give an example, your students can also learn more words and they can find the context of the word without necessarily having a translation. Number four, we got antonym and contrast. The opposite, exactly the opposite of the word that you have been given. Like if we're going to talk about the fat cat on the wall, by fat, you can have something related. You can have like a synonym of the word fat, or you can have an antonym. You can say skinny, and maybe they know the word skinny, and the word skinny can contrast exactly what you were meaning with the fat cat. That is an example. And the last one, inference or general context. Now, this is for advanced students, as I was mentioning, but it's something that you can also use. Remember that for teaching reading, there is something that I want to recall here. I just mentioned the before, the during, and the after reading stages. These stages are very specific when you're teaching reading. Why? Because remember that before will activate background knowledge and will set the purpose of the reading before actually seeing the reading. Now, during the reading, they have to find supporting details and check for the central message, for the general idea. Now, after doing that, after finding something, remember that with the readings, if you're not actually doing something with the reading, you're not reading. At the end, you have to confirm and express the main idea clearly. Now, this is the slide that I showed you to teach the three stages of reading, but I need to focus on the strategies part. What do I mean by strategies? By strategies, I mean specific things that you can do in your lesson plans, in your classes to teach reading for each one of the stages. So, for example, the before reading, we have strategies here suggested. For example, preview titles, headings, and pictures. You can use them to remember to activate background knowledge. Asking guiding questions, you can design specific questions and prefer to use them because maybe those will help you activate background knowledge. You can also use a KWL chart, which is fantastic. You're going to love if you know how to use a KWL chart because they're very useful. But the KWL stands for what I know, what I want to know, and at the very end of the class, you fill in the column that says what I learned. So those are the type of things. For the during the reading, what can you do? You can highlight keywords, maybe underline unknown words, and ask questions to the author, like what is this about? Who is talking? You can also find I don't know, like different graphic organizers to fill in the information from the reading. Maybe you have to organize the information from the reading. And your students can make a connection or can make a flow or a sequence out of the reading. And after the reading, what do you want? You want your students to use authentic language to produce. And if they can contextualize what they were reading, it will be fantastic. So, for example, we're going to read something about sports. Yes, they have a pre-reading, they have a during reading activity, and for the after reading, you can ask different questions about, do you like sports? Which sport and why? For example, if you were Messi for a day, what would you do? So they would go and think about something really exciting where they can use the language in a meaningful way to answer. And that's a fantastic way of doing this because you can give them a purpose. Remember that for reading, you have to aim for fluency or for accuracy. Think about what you want to aim with the goal that you're intending to teach your students. Now, people, this was something really quick, but this is the end of video 2. Please answer the exercise in the form to continue. Rewatch the video if necessary. Remember to use your notes. Remember, you can go back and look at the presentation as well. So please stop the video and continue.